I want to talk about my first convention, the numbers that I did, the sales that I did, how my merch sales went. All these numbers have really been helping me with analyzing and making plans, and I hope that they can help you too. Today on Moment Does Art. So November 2023, Christmas is right around the corner, and I managed to get myself a table at G-Pop, a little small convention in my hometown, and I was hoping that maybe this would be a great opportunity to sell my comic book. They were fresh off the presses, hardly sold any copies online, had a few backers that helped me out. Now it was time to actually, get this book into people's hands. The guy that was running it, his name's Blaine Angel. The guy is such a nice guy, and he's selling these tables. I think it's like $60 for a booth, and he does not restrict your table size. It's just a massive table, whatever they have at the location, lots of space. He just wants it to be a good family thing. Like, he's got kids himself, his wife, they're all lovely. And they really just wanted to have this shared experience for everyone. That's really what I feel when I talk to him about it. He doesn't care about making money. He's really just into building this community, people having some fun. So I went to the G-Pop prior to that just to attend. I think I was only thinking about doing my comic book at that point. Or maybe it was just on the back burner sort of thing. And I loved it. I thought it was great. There were a lot of really cool people, a lot of cool vendors. Some of the vendors that I then saw later, who I'm now basically friends with. And that was all through G-Pop and the experience that I have from that. So I attend this G-Pop, and I have no idea what I'm going to expect. I only had one issue, issue number one. I only had about 250 comics that I could sell this. I had some really crappy stickers that weren't even worth selling. They were just paper. I got them dirt cheap. I was ready to give them away. I had some buttons that I pressed myself, but I got a cheap button maker, so the metal ones were popping out. I think that's really it. Other than that, I did make posters for the comic, so that was a thing. But nothing else. Oh, and the trading cards. That was one thing that I did have that I was kind of proud of, and I'm going to do a separate video all on how I did that with making trading cards and wax packs. So merch really limited. And I had this giant table. He gave me a huge table. I had no idea what I was going to do with all that space. My first display looked absolutely terrible. But you know what? It was my first display, my first convention, and I think I made do with what I had. I was happy. It turned out the exact same weekend they had a whole bunch of Christmas craft shows. That was dragging a lot of people. And now there was Madcap Studios there, and there was a lot of people excited for that. So there were some extra people coming in excited for comics. So I was hoping. Sales-wise, I just had so much to learn. How do I make pitches? I've always been good at sales, always. And could that translate? Now, I'm sitting here with a couple of vendors around me, and I'm making friends with them. They're all super, super nice. And by the end of the convention, they were just like, you hit that button, Moment. That was their term for saying making sales, because they said just watching me talk to people, ching, ching, ching. But I'm not trying to make sales. What I was trying to do is get people interested in my work, in my art, in my comic book. And I think that excitement, that passion that I had, translated to them. And because of that, they were excited to read it. And it made for some great fans of the work that I was doing. So I've got some data I'm going to share with you. I'm big into the data. I like knowing what the numbers are, because numbers can't lie. And a lot of people don't like sharing this kind of stuff. That's because we're told don't share your sales numbers. Don't share that. Even when I did an entrepreneur class quite a few years ago, and entrepreneur talk. Hey, how's your business going? Oh, pretty good. Means you're doing terrible. Oh, it couldn't be doing better. Means you're just making ends meet. And anything over that, like it's basically, oh yeah, it's fine. That means you are doing so good. You're doing incredible. Like no one really wants to tell you what their numbers are, how they're doing. It's almost like they feel someone else is going to steal their money from them or something. I don't really get it, but we're always taught, don't do that. Don't share your numbers. Don't do that. No. So I'm going to give you all my numbers. This first slide here. Let's look at my total sales overall. Gross sales, 592. That's the disgusting ones. Of course, after my discounts and comps, down to 578. I think that was including... wasn't including the fees. That was just the discounts and comps that I was doing. So 578 is what I made. So almost $600. That's pretty good for my very first convention. All I had was one comic to sell, like a handful of merch to do. I'm comfortable with those numbers. Like that's something I can say, hey, not bad. $200 a day because it was a 3-day convention. Shouldn't have been though. So let's actually look at the rest of this here. So starting off with Friday. Friday sales were not that great, 134, but there's a little bit of a kind of caveat in here. I'm using a Square Reader. It was great. Service fees, of course, they exist with whatever, but the fact that I can get all this data just by using the card reader. But then I found out at about 2 a.m, I think it was, that I could have put in all my cash transactions on the machine and then I'd collect data. Now, some people do not like counting their cash transactions and they just kind of hide that and pretend it doesn't exist. I think that mindset is with the, I don't want to pay taxes on it. I look at it from the realistic point of view. I'm only going to pay like $5-6 in taxes on all of that. And that's because I got all the tax discounts, the tax rebates from all my expenses. So I really don't think I'm going to be paying taxes on that. But the value that I get from having that data at hand, I think is more valuable than the $5 or $6 I'll save on taxes at the end of it. So I figured out, okay, 2 a.m. Whoa, I should have put those in. What was it that I got? Here we go. It was 3 a.m. You can check on November 25th. So that was the Saturday, 3 a.m. I got myself out of bed and I input all the cash sales. So the Saturday is grossly inflated after doing about $120, $130 in cash sales at 3 a.m. Then with the rest of the day, 440. So what is that minus, let's just say 140 to round it off. So I did $300 on approximately. I could get the real numbers if I want to, but about 300 on Saturday, about almost 300 on Friday. So Friday and Saturday were both really good. And I don't know if you've done the math here yet in your head. After doing 458, 440, and 444 in total. But that means on Sunday, I show up and 0. The whole Sunday, 0. No transactions during that time. Nothing. Nada. Nil. Zip. Kaputski. So, I'm very comfortable with the fact that I did 602 days. So, 300 a day. That's really good. And I think I was kind of comfortable because it was, 7-hour day, enjoying talking to people. Overall, I think it's important to see really where those numbers went into. The comics, I did 308 in just a comic sale. That's just for issue 1. 22 comics were sold. Not that bad. Then I had the packages. 5 of those packages is at 150. Poster that was comped, and trading cards. Again, I loved it. One person bought it. That was Blaine. Blaine came because he wanted those trading cards, the wax packs, because he said they were so cool. The rest, those were all just comped. I just gave those away. And then there were the ones that were included in some of the packages. So I didn't really, outside of Blaine, who's, again, is awesome, didn't sell any trading cards, didn't sell any posters, didn't sell anything else. It was just comics and the packages, but yeah, there was no real merch to make up a really cool package. So not a lot of sales happened there. Another thing that I think is important to show off is where the money came from. Now, G-Pop, this was taking place in the Decoy Armories. The venue itself doesn't have Wi-Fi, so we're just using data. And because there's no Wi-Fi there, there's no cash machines. There's advertising, bring cash. Bring cash, no cash machine on site. So everyone's told to bring cash. So those that do have Square, and I think pretty much everyone had a Square reader there. I don't think I saw anyone that didn't have means to take card payments. But this was interesting. Despite the fact that they're advertising pay cash, cash only made up 45% of the sales, almost 46%. The rest was card. So people were just expecting to be able to use card, even though it was heavily advertised to bring cash. Of the cash, everything was tapped. 316. I think this is important to know, so that when I'm planning anything, I'm not going to go without that card reader, because even at the events where they're saying bring cash, it was half of that was card. So if I was to say, no, I don't accept card, because I was expecting everyone to play cash, you're at a loss. But that said, also with 50% cash, you got to have the cash for doing change. When I did my pricing for all the packages that I did, I tried to make sure that it was going to be easy to give change to it. So things would always round out to being like $25, 30, 35. I avoided that whole $34.99 because no one has pennies anymore, and just to avoid as much coin change as possible. And as long as I had a whole whack load of 5s, I should be fine, because people are either going to pay with a series of 20s or maybe a 50, or the odd person's going to have a brown bill. That's the denominations you got, and that's really the best thing to be prepared for. So that was it. Data-wise, nearly $600 for my very first con, and with only one comic, next to no merch, like posters, buttons, crappy stickers, and trading cards. So my options for those packages were terrible, and yet with one comic, I could do $600 in sales in 3 days. So, be inspired. You could do that too. And I really hope that your sales, if it's comics or if it's any form of art or creative work that you have, do it. Try hard. Try your best. And I think you're going to do amazing. I'll talk to you next time. And I got to do like 10 seconds before the intro starts. So, today I wanted to talk, no, not going to do the announcer voice. Not getting paid to do the announcer voice anymore. I'm not going to do the announcer voice. Roddy Radio. Okay. Today I wanted to talk about my first con, the first convention I ever got to sell my comic book.